Monday, October 12th. Happy birthday to my mom. Happy birthday, Nan. Not that she watches this, but I figured it'd be nice.
Happy birthday.
Shout out on a video that no one watches. We're going to take a look at irony today. Information up there. We have a bell work, so make sure you put this entry. It is also on my website. The poetry test is coming up on, what do you call that day? Friday.
Oh.
And first time least grade, Civil War still going on. Alright. Up here, the definition with irony says, the use of words to express something different from and often the opposite to the literal meaning, or a difference between the expected result and the actual result. Mr. Brovicast, that makes no sense. That's okay. It's going to be a little tough. Irony is one of the two toughest things we will do this year. Irony is one, and theme is the other when we get to short stories. It is sort of the high-level mathematics of English, where in math class, when you have that thing that the teacher spends like 4 days going over, and at the end you're like, I still don't get it. Then irony, for some of you, that's how it's going to work. For others of you, then irony will make sense and you'll be on top of it. We're going to be beating irony into you the whole time. It'll make you a better person. Oh, actually, I've been training you guys on irony this whole year because I use irony with you guys almost every day. I use what's called verbal irony, where you say one thing, but the words that you're using have the exact opposite meaning. Do you guys know what it's called when you say one thing, but the words you're using have the exact opposite meaning? Tommy?
Sarcasm.
Sarcasm. I use sarcasm with you guys a lot to make you better people. When I say, good job, you're so smart, I'm proud of you.
Dang.
And you go, he likes me. But see, if you don't understand sarcasm, then that works out very well because you'd be like, oh, pat on the back. And I'm like, I'm making fun of you. But it makes you happy. Yes, it is. That's why I do it. It allows me to get out my anger because I have issues. And so I've been training you guys, or because it's educational, it was all going through this moment right now in irony. Like, he's a genius. Hashtag no irony. Now, this part. This is going to be our irony training wheels here in blue to sort of see how well you guys can do with it. This will not get you ready for irony. This is not irony. It's going to get you ready for irony. Imagine, if you will, that we're on our little educational bicycle. And we're just starting off, and we have training wheels on our bicycle because we're just learning how irony works. These are our irony training wheels. In a moment, I'm going to take you to Knowledge Hill and push you down it. And we're going to see how well you do with your little irony bicycle. You're like, look, Daddy, I'm all by myself. And you'll be like wobbling and stuff like that. The problem is, at the bottom of Knowledge Hill, there's a highway. Just cars going back and forth. And we're going to see, if you understand irony, you're going to be able to go, ah, brakes! And you're going to hit the brakes and safely stop, and the car's right there in front of you. For others of you, you're going to go, ah! And just cover your eyes and be like, I wonder what's going to happen. Death. Death is what happens. So we're going to see how well you do. Training wheels begin. Otter, what is it a fireman does?
Puts out fires.
Nicely done. What would be the opposite of that?
Creating fires.
Works for me. I put catches on fire, but it gives you the same idea. If you don't have these written down, this is where you would write those examples down. So you should be writing them in there to help you out. What a DARE officer does. Hopefully you remember back to our Sand Creek intermediate days with a DARE officer. Jones?
Teaches drug resistance.
Nice one. Don't do drugs, if you will. The opposite of what we would expect. Tommy?
Walks in class smoking.
There you go. I put gets arrested for driving under the influence, or you could put gets arrested for giving kids drugs, or you see him smoking out behind the building. Any of those would qualify as the opposite of what we would expect. What a dentist does. Zavari?
Fixes teeth.
Nice of them. I put prevents cavities, but sort of the same idea. The opposite of that. Ainsley?
Gives you a big bag of candy.
Which nice of them. I put has bad teeth, but that would be along the same ideas. Now, with what an English teacher does, probably shouldn't use me as your best example, but use English teachers you've seen on TV or something like that. Isabella?
Teaches children.
Good teaches them what?
English.
What's English?
Language.
Work. Which involves a lot of, works for me, I was going to say words, but reading would work, the reading of words. And then the opposite of what we would expect on that law.
That's terrible grammar skills.
Nice one. I put misspells own name or name of small child that's unimportant. Law!
Okay, so last year,
Sorry, she realized I was attacking her. Keep going. This is where you're asking a question. Focus.
anyway, okay. Last year, I had this teacher, and she was an English teacher.
Uh-huh.
She misspelled every word possible.
She sounds like a special lady.
No,
You sure it wasn't just like somebody you found on the street?
no, she had like degrees and everything, and then she wouldn't use the right grammar terms. It was horrible.
Math teachers are like that. And then for the part that's down here in red, we're going to have you create 2 examples of your own. If you can't create 2 examples of your own, then wait. We're not done training you. Some more training is going to come up. If you have your own examples, hold on to them because we're going to get to them in a moment. I use a social studies teacher not being able to locate North America because they teach that whole geography and map thing, and if they couldn't find one, that's kind of ironic. Or a gymnast tripping on the awards platform because a gymnast is supposed to be all part ninja, and these people walk up and be like, ninja flip, and then land on top of it. But if they get an award, they should be an expert gymnast and like stumble, stumble as they go up. You're like, that's ironic. What about like a wrestler who goes up there and stumbles? Not ironic because wrestlers are tall, lumbering things. They're part bear anyway. And so because of that, it's not going to qualify as ironic. A gymnast would be. All right, let's begin. Here is where now you're going to be pushed down Knowledge Hill. Let's see how well you can figure out how the brakes work. I have examples. We're going to go through and see if you can figure out how these examples work. The Made in China sticker. There's a factory that makes the Made in China stickers. It would be ironic if we found out what about that company. This is where you get to find out how well you have your knowledge. Do your brakes work? Monsoon?
If it was the factory was in America.
Nicely done. If you find out that the factory was in America that makes the little stickers that say Made in China and they ship them over there, then that would most definitely qualify. Plus, the sticker I found that got me thinking about this was on 4th of July, and my daughters were at a parade, and they were handing out stuff for the kids to wave in the parade, and the thing they gave my daughter had a Made in China sticker on it, and I found it very ironic that this particular thing had a Made in China sticker on it.
America.
And what would they give my daughter to wave?
Flag.
The American flag.
Wow.
But they were these little American flags, and on there it had a little Made in China sticker, and I was like, really? Irony. Irony. All right, we have the CEO, or the president of Chevrolet. If we were to find out that they, Tommy,
Was actually the owner of a Ford company.
is correct. If you find out like they're driving like a Ford truck or something like that, and they're like, they're just well built. And they'd be like, well, that's kind of ironic because it's the opposite of what you would expect. Employees of Microsoft, in order to walk around their offices and give them mobility, it would be ironic if they were all using Zavari,
Apple device.
nice done, like iPads or something like that, and they're just like, well, they just work all the time. And you're like, that's ironic. Real life irony. This comes from actual students I had in class. I had a student named Joy and a student named Delight. Both of them ironic. Isabella?
You're always sad.
Yeah, in different ways. Joy was the grumpy kid that sat in the back of class and would just never smile, ever. I don't know if that's just what happens when your parents name you Joy. You're like, I will hate life. But that actually was pointed out to me by other kids in class. And we were going through and doing this whole irony, and I eventually came back and added this one in there. Because the kids, when I taught irony, like, is Joy ironic? And I'm like, what? And Joy's like, And I'm like, why? They're like, because she never smiles. And we all looked at her and Joy went, like, Joy is ironic. I'm like, thank you, Joy. She was like, Delight wasn't grumpy. Delight was a bully. She just went around beating kids and getting sent to the principal all the time. She had no problem just punching kids all the time.
Oh my
She
God.
had some serious issues. But
Dang.
no one pointed out her irony in class because I think they were afraid that she would hit them. But when we got there and I had talked about Joy, I saw other kids like look over at her and she was like, they were like, no learning here. No, they don't. But yeah, both of them were definitely examples of irony. It made me laugh. MTV, the TV station, well, cable station. Well, first off, do you know what MTV stands for?
Music television.
Music television. Eagle, why is that ironic?
Because they wouldn't be showing music.
They no longer show music. They show reality TV shows about girls that are 16 and pregnant and stuff like that. Now, if you want to get your music videos, you have to go to YouTube and stuff like that. So, the irony. An atheist. Well, first you have to know what an atheist is to be able to know what they would wear to make it ironic. Otter,
Okay, wait, am I answering what they wear?
both parts if you got it.
Oh,
What is an atheist?
an atheist is someone who doesn't believe in Jesus.
Good.
And then wearing a shirt with Jesus on it.
Close. That would work. This one came from a student who was actually an atheist and was wearing a cross. And I tried to point out the irony of the fact, but she was like, "It's pretty." And I was like, "Well, of course it is."
Pretty.
And so it was like, that was a little ironic that you're wearing this big ornate cross and yet you don't believe in the dude that, had made it famous. Why would this be ironic? The fact that we take Labor Day off and sit around doing nothing on this particular day. You look so happy. Eagle,
Because it's called Labor Day and labor's like work.
nicely done.
Wait,
So National Working Day, we celebrate it by not working.
Oh, never mind.
So that would be, just like if we had something called National Lazy Day, and then how would we celebrate National Lazy
Go
Day?
to school.
Yeah, 16 hours of school on National Lazy Day.
No.
That's what would make it ironic. You're like, well, Labor Day is the other day. Learning. I have a unit that we eventually get to coming up in like January and February, and my kids who lose the most points for talking, ironically seem to throw the biggest fit about this particular unit, which I find to be ironic. Tommy?
Oh wait, do you want me to?
Yes, what unit will they not like? That makes it ironic.
The reading unit of a book club thing.
Isabella! In our speech unit, which comes up. So, we have a speech unit, and for some reason, it's my kids who lose the most points talking like, I don't want to give speeches. I'm like, you talk all the time. That's different. Why? Everyone's staring at me. Everyone's staring at you because you're an idiot and you lose points. But it's different because it feels weird. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. So yes, I have, for some reason, those kids seem to complain the most about giving speeches. Real life story on this one. I found a Drive Carefully sticker. And the particular vehicle I found this Drive Carefully sticker on, I thought was ironic. Jones?
Monster truck.
The monster truck could work. Not the one I found it on, but I could see that. Docketed?
Like a car that's all like banged up and crashed.
That happened what it was. I was on my way to Walmart to go buy groceries because
I love
Walmart's
Walmart.
a
I do
wonderful
too.
place. And I pulled up behind a car and I was like, how is that thing even driving? The whole back end of it was smashed. It looked like, Hulk, and I'm like, crunk, 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 and I just left it there. But while I'm sitting there at the stoplight staring at it, I can see something on the ruined bit of the bumper, so I kept getting closer and then closer. I'm like, what am I? And it was a bumper sticker that was all smashed into it that said, drive carefully, motorcycles are everywhere. And I was like, ironic, because someone wasn't driving carefully. So I was like, picture for my students. So I got my phone out and I was zooming in to try and get the picture when the light changed and the car took off. And I was like, no! So I gunned it so I could catch up to him so I could get the picture. And so I was driving it and holding up the camera when I realized how horribly dumb that was. And I was like, because that's going to be ironic if I plow into the back of that car. And the cop's like, why were you that close? I'm like, taking a picture of what? Their Drive Carefully sticker. Why? My irony unit in class. He's like, you're an idiot. I'm like, yes, I am. So I don't have a picture. Use your imagination because they pulled away. And I thought, plus it's probably a little creepy that I'm drive tailgating you while trying to take a picture of the back of your car. But it was for education, so it's okay because everyone likes education. You guys know what phobias are?
No.
Wait, not caring. What's a phobia, Jake?
Like when you're scared of something.
So if we have a president of an airline who has a phobia, what would be his ironic phobia, Dakota?
If he was afraid to fly.
Nicely done. Afraid of heights or afraid of flying. Same thing like if you're the president of a ladder company and you have a fear of heights, that would qualify as ironic. We had a teacher, she's now over at Riverside, she transferred, but her name was Mrs. Music, and I was pointing out the fact that her existence was ironic. Francis?
She didn't teach music.
Nicely done. She was actually a science teacher, and she was a science teacher, and she always claimed she could not sing. And I was like, that's ironic. And so the fact that she could not sing and her name was Mrs. Music, it made me smile. Another story. This one was, once again, Walmart. I was leaving Walmart this time, and they had one of those yellow diamonds that are in like the back window that says "I love kids" or I had a little heart and little kids. And I was like, oh, that's adorable. And I saw that as I was coming up. I ended up coming up next to the car after seeing the thing behind it. And I could see the two kids in the back of the car and the two adults in the front of the car, and all the windows were up, and the parents in the front seat were just smoking. Just waves of smoke rolling into the back seat. And so the little kids were back there with little fingers on the window, like, you can see their little mouths up against like the crack in the door, trying to like breathe in like the clean, fresh air. That's what I thought. And I was like, you don't heart kids, you heart killing kids.
Did you call someone?
I tried to take a picture of it. Because I thought it was educational.
You should have called like 911 or something. They're killing those children.
Nothing illegal about it.
The kids are dying
They're
in the
not
back.
dying. They're getting their nicotine
not
fix.
living.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Because that's so
But
much
I tried to
better.
take a picture once again next to them. I pulled out my phone and I leaned over to take a picture. But apparently that's incredibly creepy because they gave me a really dirty look when they looked over and I'm like, and I'm like, I'm just checking my phone. So then I put that away. But I figured I'd use that story to help educate you about the fact that that was ironic that they put the I heart kids and they did not heart kids.
And that was creepy.
We find out the designer of the Xbox. And what we have the designer of the Xbox, Dakota?
PlayStation.
Works for
That's what I was
PlayStation,
thinking.
something like that.
Ew.
Now, I think it should be.
I'm not even done.
I have visual ones for you. And so it's a picture to see if you can figure out what is ironic in the picture. Picture. So for this picture, we have to figure out what bit of irony we have going on in here to figure out from that one. Isabella!
A dog chewed up a dog movie.
Close. Not just a dog movie. Jones?
So it says training your dog, but your dog isn't trained because he's
Nice. So that's a
injured.
dog training video about how to train your dog, and the dog chewed it up and tore it up, and I was like, ironic. Not my dog. That was just one that I found that I thought was ironic.
You have a dog?
I have children, so it's the same thing.
Okay.
This is a fireworks display that I found one 4th of July when I was buying fireworks. And the name of the display is called American Freedom. But apparently there's irony there. Jake?
May I have my shoe back since
You may. Now that you return the stuff. La?
Well, it says made in China, and China is not America.
Nicely
It's an
done.
American freedom.
So the fact that they named the fireworks display American Freedom, but we make our freedom in China, I thought that was rather ironic. This one's a little tougher to figure out. It's a battery-powered battery charger for charging rechargeable batteries, but it takes other batteries in order for it to work. And you're like, well, at least you can start off doing it right away, but the problem is
Batteries are not
batteries
included.
not included. Plus the fact that it is using batteries to charge other batteries made me laugh.
Oh wow.
So we have irony with this picture, and Eagle, what's our irony here?
the fire truck is on fire.
So the thing that's supposed to put out fires has caught on fire. Do you guys know what plagiarism is?
Yes.
I do it all the time.
No, I don't, but I know what it is.
What is plagiarism?
Recopy
Ainsley?
stuff.
It's where you copy something word for word.
And so if you were to write a paper about plagiarism, well, how could you make that ironic when you write your paper about how we should not plagiarize? Otter?
Plagiarize, like copy what it says.
Nicely done. There's the one here says, your paper on the growing problem of plagiarism in society is eye-opening, especially since it's the 3rd time I've seen it. It's the idea that you wrote a paper about plagiarism and how you shouldn't copy people's stuff, but all you did was
Copy.
copy people's stuff.
Very crayon.
Vanessa, what's our issue here?
Oh my gosh.
An American creed.
Yes.
It's gonna be illegal.
And yeah, on the other side of it, I found it said made in Mexico, so I was like, oh, that's awesome. This was at a rally and protest for people coming here from other countries, and I found the fact that this particular person's protest sign was a
I get
little
it.
ironic, so I thought we'd try and find the irony of that one, Law.
Good
It
job.
says respect our country, speak English, but instead of saying our like O-U-R,
Yep.
it says A-R.
So they used the wrong form of the word in their way of attacking people for not speaking English, and I was like, oh, you poor hillbilly. Protest correctly. This is a toy for children that you're trying to hate. But you have to figure out why does this toy make it something that you want to hate. Gus,
Isn't it because of the warning hazard?
what does the warning say?
Choking hazard, small parts, not children under 3.
And why is that ironic?
Because it's for little kids.
Getting close specifically?
The baby toy.
Vanessa?
Because it's for children that are 2.
Well, I can't read that.
How could you read that
I
then?
did too.
Wait, are you saying that's ironic? The fact that I can't read the big ones, just the little ones. Gus, that's ironic. Nicely done.
Gustafer.
This was a company I found called the Sliding Door Company.
Oh.
And our issue there, Mattson?
They're like the
Yeah, they're pull doors. I'm like, then you're not a very good sliding door company.
Like,
This one is a mango juice that I found. At the bottom it says, mangoes are a natural source of vitamin A. So, knowing it's mango juice, what would you expect to find a lot of in there?
mango.
Vitamin A.
Which tells you that apparently this is not real mango juice.
Oh my god.
On my chair that I have for watching my daughter's soccer games, this is the little cup holder.
That's my chair.
It says, warning, do not put beverages in cup holder. So, I don't know, I thought that was rather ironic that you put a cup holder that you cannot put actual cups
What do you
into.
put in there?
I'm guessing your phone, small pieces of grass.
Animals.
Hamster.
Have you ever put?
A library that someone had set up that I found.
Please ask self-help.
Oh!
Coach?
Well, okay, so it says ask for assistance if it's on the top shelf, but the top shelf is labeled self-help.
So the area where you're supposed to be able to do it all on your own, you have to be able to get assistance to get there. And then a tattoo about how you should not make mistakes in life. And I found it ironic that they chose this particular tattoo. Vanessa,
Because they spelled decision wrong.
not just decision,
And
4.
and your, and decision, and for, and their tattoo will be with them for life about how you should not make mistakes.
That is
You have now been trained on how irony
I bet the
works.